And welcome to this video tour of Argyle United Methodist Church. They are located at 9033 Fort Worth Drive in Argyle, Texas. Argyle is a horse plantation community, if you will. It's growing very, very rapidly. This church was making a move from some very hidden streets out to 9033 Fort Worth Drive, a major thoroughfare going through Argyle. They bought 20 acres. They were very aggressive. They knew that moving out this first phase that we're looking at would be, as so often is the case, very difficult because of the space that they would need as they grew and finance that first phase. So you'll see here coming off the main drive, parking, we've got a little fountain, and then we've organized everything around one central entry. So nice for a church to be able to welcome everyone coming in one entry. You'll see that we come in, gathering space, coffee, welcome right into worship, and then restrooms over here, kitchen that serves both directions, administration that functions right off the gathering space, and then here's your security, these doors, and then the rest of the education space around. Very, very efficient. They also knew that they were not going to be able to meet all their education needs, so they went ahead and master planned in a 1B. Phase 1B was going to be some portable buildings that they did have for about a half a phase, and then they were able to get rid of those and build again some more education space over here. So again, here we see phase 1 in the light yellow. And as we pan back out, we see how that's going to fit into their master plan for the full 20 acres. We see that as you're entering into this main entry, you're entering into what we call a grand mall. And this grand mall runs all the way across from east to west and literally becomes the unifying element that makes a big, big campus seem small. This is really, really a great technique. So if you look at the majority of our parking, this phase 1 parking, and then the parking over here on the west is all going to come right into this grand mall. And that is just fantastic. Once you're in the grand mall, you're kind of safe on base. Now, interestingly, we could not get them from the original worship center to their eventual worship center of 2,300 seats. Now, it'll be interesting to see if they reach the goal of the 2,300 seats, but they wanted to make sure that they had their future reserved. Well, we were not able to go from the approximately 600 seats to 2,300 seats. No church can make that jump. It's just far too big. And so it's not very usual, but it does happen in some cases that we need to make an intermediate jump, and that's this 1,100 seat activity center. So you can see that the biggest jump we normally find that a church can make is about a doubling. So you're 500 to 600, you're going here to 1,100, and then you're swinging up here to 2,300. So 3 major spaces. This gives them a wedding chapel and kind of a youth space, fellowship hall, and then an activity center where they can, have more basketball and sports type activities, and then the worship center. They also have a 150-seat chapel over here. And then you see the rest of the spaces organized around there with elementary here tying in with preschool. And if you'll look, we always work very, very hard to get a strong relationship between nursery and preschool to that final worship service. Well, what we're doing here is we're able to accomplish both. Look at the preschool's relationship to the phase 2 worship center and the phase 3. So we really hit a home run there. Here we've got a library, coffee, bookstore. This is just a great space here with some great light, great views. So a really, really strong master plan and a great first phase start for this congregation. Here we see a little bit of the exterior detailing on the front of the phase 1 sanctuary with a backlit cross. Gives them just a really strong identification presence. We see the use of split face block and some brick bands running through there, and this was really a handsome element. Stepping inside, we see the polished and stained concrete floors, just a beautiful luster. Now, a lot of people think that these floors are going to be cheap. These are actually among the more premium floors that can be obtained, but I love the scoring. You see the welcome desk here and the ceiling feature over top. So you're walking right in. Right on this side is the administration. To our left is the sanctuary. And this is just a great open gathering space. They were moving out of an old space that was very, very small, tiny little foyer, and then right into the sanctuary. So they didn't have any of this fellowship space. They also were in a very dated facility. So the young pastor out there, Corey Knott, really wanted to use phase one to kind of break things loose a little bit and help this congregation kind of find itself on this new site. And he knew that he could always promise a return to more traditional type structures as they progressed through the phases. But in this early phase, he really wanted to touch the contemporary a little bit. I think that we did that very well. With another shot there of the gathering space, just turning a little bit to the right. The mustard, you see the lighting band with the light shining up on the ceiling. Just a really pleasant space. Moving into the phase one worship space, we see here as it's been decorated up for a sermon series with early worship in progress. Just a great little contemporary worship space. Here we see it more emptied out. A lot of lighting. This was at the very beginning of the LED movement, but you can see us coming in with some color and some light that really gives this space a freshness. Line array speakers. This is a cloud feature. You won't see right above our head are some clouds. We love using clouds for bass trap for congregations that are going to use bass guitar and drums. It makes a very good acoustic bass trap for those long wavelengths that tend to just get stuck in a room bouncing around. Here we see over the choir, these are angled panels to help give them a little bit of a choir shell, band shell type amplification as their sound comes out toward the sanctuary. And here we see another one of the looks, and you can see how fresh the paint almost becomes irrelevant as the lighting just makes the space always fresh. And here we see just in the day, no lights on at all. It's just a pleasant space. Here we can see those acoustical clouds we were talking about. Gives us an opportunity to hide a lot of ductwork. And what happens is those longer, lower sound waves come up here and get broken up and go and hit insulation or absorptive material on top of these clouds. And it takes a lot of that deep, ringy bass out of the space. We actually can tune the space acoustically. There is John Hall Brown Jr., my dad. I got a chance to work with him for 22 years in the firm. He was my mentor, and I just learned a tremendous amount from him, not just about how to do architecture, but how to do life. So appreciate him very much. And finally, another shot there and our final shot of this project. So we appreciate you taking the time to take this tour with us. If there's any questions we can answer, we would love to do it. Give us a call, give us a shout at the bottom of our webpage, and we would love to meet with you. Thanks.